Greetings in the name of Jah Rastafari. Victory after victory after victory is ours, saith the Lord. That's Kim Clement. The prophetic words of Kim Clement. And I just feel that nothing sums up this first week. I feel like we've just gone through the real New Year's Day. Started on January 20th. What a week. What a week it's been. The craziest week maybe ever, but certainly in my memory. Well, it's been 4 months since my last video, and it feels great to be back. Thank you to all of those that wrote with some encouraging words, and several of you had the request, please, bring us some more videos. And thank you for encouraging me. I took 107's advice, and he said, a wise man sees when trouble is coming and knows to get out of the way. And that's how I felt the last 4 months, really. Was so hard to predict anything accurately, and I didn't feel like my ideas would help anyone. All we could do is wait and watch, and boy, it was worth the wait, because this past week, never in the world have we ever seen anything like it, and it's just the beginning. Also, I got a message from Man of Truth through a mutual friend, Susie, who said that he advised me to move away from the Pacific because of the Cascadia and the threat of that fault line being used as a weapon against us. And now that we're through this alignment, which was in the US debt clock images all the time this last night, the 7 planets in alignment, and they are today as well, which that would have been a timing because there is magnetic shift on those plates. And Juan's been saying the same thing. He explained how the subduction zone, when you get the high tide on a full moon, there's so much pressure on that subduction zone that it doesn't take a lot for it to lose its grip and cause massive problems. But speaking of Juan, 2020, it's not over yet. That's his favorite. He actually sings pretty good, better than me. But seriously, there's a huge truth bomb in that 2020 is not over yet song. By the way, 107 has an official website. In case you didn't know, I'm sure a lot of my audience are already onto it. But on X, it's 107. It's also on Telegram. Great account. He's got a feed there that I highly recommend. It's a thread, actually, all about the 2020. Longest thread I've ever seen, and it talks about 2024. So, I hope people read Danger Close by Patrick Byrne. If not, you better get your hands on that book. He's a national treasure, that man. And the book explains a little bit about what he's bringing forward. And there's nothing going to be able to stop this guy. He's not a Trump supporter. Well, he's not a Democrat. He's a libertarian originally, or he never voted for Trump in the past. Maybe he would in the future. But when you hear this expression, we have it all, really, we do. I mean, it's there, enough to overturn the 2020. By the way, I should say this entire video is just for entertainment purposes. I am no expert. I have no inside knowledge of anything. And I'm just laying this out there for people to give it some thought. So the 2020, what we're being told is that the software engineers for Dominion have an office in Serbia, Belgrade. By the way, Hunter, he was so stupid to download his cell phone records onto his laptop, and the GPS showed that on election night he was within a mile of the office of Dominion in Serbia. But what we're being told is the very day that Trump was being sworn in, the software engineers and their family were on flights to the US for protective custody. They are blowing the whistle. They are the whistleblowers. And they're bringing with them the video of a Zoom call. Now, this is all allegedly, this is purported, that in that Zoom call from Serbia to the Toronto Dominion office, did I say Toronto Dominion? The Toronto office for Dominion. And it's who's in that call. That's the reason we see Trump making jokes about Canada becoming the 51st state. It's not a joke. The military consider foreign interference with an election in the US as an act of war. So we are talking a very, very serious allegation, and it would make sense that if the video proves that there were foreign interference in the US election, it changes everything for Canada. So CCP is involved too, and they're on that, allegedly on that video. So another thing that I remember this vividly, and I'm shocked that more people don't know this or talk about it, but on the day of the election way back in 2020, Xerox dropped a press release congratulating themselves for the invisible watermark ballot that they watermarked. So they invented a watermark that was invisible and it had blockchain. So if that's the case, then all of these other ballots that were brought in to fill in the count are fake. It's all fake. They even use US Postal Service to deliver them, allegedly. Mind you, they have that. So that expression by Q, watch the water, it might have to do with the watermark that's on those ballots, on the real ballots. And by the way, in 2024, there were 20 million less voters for the Democrats than in 2020. So that was real proof for anyone who's in denial. And on top of that, 1,475 people are serving sentences right now convicted of election fraud. So you can't say that there wasn't cheating in 2020, with a straight face anyway. Boy, it would be nice if we had a Q post day one of these days, a new one, a fresh one. But Q is still relevant. The Deltas still fit. And but back to this topic is the election truth is, Juan says often that the wheels of justice grind slow, but they grind fine. And that's exactly what's happening in this case, because a lot of people realize and recognize that the only chance we're ever going to have to fix the overall election system, which is completely rigged, by the way, and that's an allegation, is the 2020 case, to finish it, to prove it out, and to bring it to justice. That's the only way to solve the election system. Now, if the allegations are correct, then the Canada government is on that Zoom call, with the Dominion voting systems, and CCP are on that call, if the allegations are correct. And then their idea was, they were the ones, so they stopped counting the ballots that night. It was the Toronto office that determined how many fake ballots would need to go to which of the battleground states. And we know in Pennsylvania that was the case, that suit is over, that law case is over. Pennsylvania lost. There were fake ballots used in that election in Pennsylvania. So it's all about the algorithms, though, and people have figured out the algorithms. And when you see that they used the same algorithm, all they did was change the number of votes for one side, fix it to this side. But they figured out the algorithm, and they've got it in all the battleground states. They can show it, they can prove it. So that is going to be the wheels grinding. That's justice. That's what we all want. What we want is justice. What's the point of truth if there's no justice? They're hand in hand, these two things, truth and justice. So all we want's the truth, and then the justice can follow. We're not in this for vengeance, or we're not a lynch mob. We just want the truth. So promises made, promises kept. Trump is amazing. totally amazing. From day one, he came out swinging. Never before have we ever seen a president start out this way. Common sense has returned. Incredible. No more women, or no more men in women's sports. Well, hello. I mean, how common can you get? No more DEI. Adios. That was insanity. No more crisis of the climate. Hey, we recognize we've got some problems and we're working and we are going to fix all the problems on this planet. But going into this net zero carbon bullshit was just a complete scam. And that's just the globalist retards out of Davos that are forcing this down our throat. We call him carbon tax carny. You know, Ghislaine Maxwell's good friend, he's the one that wrote the thing on New World Order with carbon tax. That guy, he's no good. He's the enemy, without a doubt. So, the Trump effect, worldwide. I am telling you that this man, his victory, and how he's moving forward is lifting people's spirits all around the world. It's not just across America, it's huge in America. People are now empowered to step into places they might not have and do things. You know, we're a long way from finished yet, folks. I mean, do not start patting ourselves on the back or celebrating. We got an enemy that is within. It's inside of our gates, and it hasn't even been triggered yet. And there's people outside the gate, globalists, that want the worst for us. So we got a ways to go. That's why I'm saying is prayer is necessary, and pray hard. Pray for March the 4th, when President Donald Trump will give a State of the Union address on the original date, March the 4th, when the old U.S. Government would have their inauguration on March the 4th. So what a coincidence that he's having that State of the Union address on March the 4th. So here's what I want people to watch is the U.S. debt clock. Keep your eye on it. I'm telling you, there's a new money revolution coming. It's undoubtable. We are going to have treasury certificates. Nobody knows when, but there is already a bill put forward called End the Fed. Thomas Massey, God bless you. And it is going to be ended. That debt is going to be gone, and we are going to have a dividend dollar, a certificate that's issued from the Treasury that'll be used all over the world as money. And it's going to have a dividend associated to it for the basket of items, not just gold and oil, agriculture, but also the ability of the American mind and the group to invent and to create out of whole cloth. So that dollar is going to be worth 3% more each year, a dividend dollar. So my big hope is that the 4th of July would be held at Mount Rushmore, that a certain person would come out on the head of George Washington and present himself to the world, and that we would be able to start celebrating on the 4th of July and not have to look over our shoulder anymore. But remember, it's not over yet. And we forward in this generation triumphantly. Thank you very much for watching.